Guidetti has been staying put in VakifBank since 2008. Here we go. Champions League semifinals, quarterfinals, underway 2025. It is VakifBank taking on Fenerbahçe for a spot in the semifinals. First swing on the outside. It's a big one. Branidercha, Serbian setter, drops one short. Cross court, that'll do nicely. Yuan Jinyue, the 28-year-old Chinese middle blocker, a big part of the offense and the defense for VakifBank this season. Spent her entire career in China, just popping over to Turkey, getting a taste of this international volleyball. She heads back to serve, puts it a little long, but that's the nerves that might be present here. Of course, both teams, we know how important that first serve is, that first contact. Going aggressive at your opponent is part of the strategy. Marina Fedorovtseva. Here comes Vargas, cross court, taken off big time. Keep your eyes on her, the 25-year-old Turkish-Cuban opposite has been stunning the international world of volleyball for the last several seasons. Fedorovtseva adding a bit of heat to that. Now Fenerbahçe have some of the best servers possibly in the entire world of volleyball. Between Fedorovtseva, Vargas, it's going to be difficult for VakifBank to get that first contact. That's what they mentioned was one of the struggles last time they met. As the Kalach, 29-year-old middle blocker, will have her try. First contact, deep on the corner, looking for Markova. Down the line goes Van Rijk, and she'll have some success there. Through the arms of Vargas, no less. Van Rijk, just 26 years old, the Canadian opposite. Here comes Markova. Oh, there's a super serve. How's the spin on that? Just dropping. And a serve for Marina Markova, 24-year-old Russian outside hitter. Ties us up at fours. Back again. Ball in play, Vargas tips it, that's covered. Tight joust, doesn't go down. Another opportunity. One more time, this time back to Vargas. The defense, no good. Oh, this is what Fenerbahçe know so well, is just throwing that ball up in the direction of Vargas. So good at cleaning it up. They'll send her a lot. She's got a lot of work to do as the match progresses. Now, we haven't seen either team really dial in that serve. Just kind of warming up here at the beginning stages of the match. Cross court goes long. That keeps Saragunas at the service line. Bit of frustration creeping in on the sidelines of the coaches. Guidetti asking his team, perhaps not the moment to push on the serve just yet. A few too many errors for his liking. Ana Cristina keeps one in play. Big swing off the hands. Going again, high ball back outside. Fenerbahçe unwinds on it. A fair bit of Russian firepower on both sides that time. Fenerbahçe going against her compatriot. The favor returned. Markova with very little in the way. And Reich from the end. Too much pressure. Well, we know, and you know, in the sport of volleyball, that first serve, the first few serves, just all match long. Serving is so crucial, that first chance to attack your opponent. Bozzetti looking for some angles there. Too much on it, gives Fenerbahçe an advantage. Yohan Jinue, one of those unicorn middles that's as good at the block as she is in the offense. Vargas denied. Was there a touch? Guidetti almost calling for a mid-rally challenge there. Didn't think there was a touch on his blockers. Have another look at that. I'm going to say there was there. Luckily didn't have to make the challenge. Ball goes out. When you think about the physics of it, if the blockers are doing their job, chances are they do touch the ball 9 times out of 10. No touches there though. Fenerbahçe with the quickest of arms. The 21-year-old been with Fenerbahçe since 2021 as well. Beats Yohan Jinue with speed. Van Rijk sent packing. Kalac in the right place at the right time. Barely had to make much of a move. She's joined by her Russian outside hitter as well. Another 2-point spread. And the reception in Struggle Fest. Fenerbahçe relying on their strengths. And one of them, that first aggressive serve. Timeout called, VakifBank.
You need to close the block with Fenerbahçe. Close the block. You don't need to jump. No jump. Stay IN, and then close the block. And everybody, fight to fight, strong, strong, strong.
This is unfamiliar territory for Giovanni Guidetti. He is so used to VakifBank just being absolutely dominant over the years. But then along comes someone like Melissa Vargas on the other side. A team like Fenerbahçe with so many strengths. Now is the time for a little bit of momentum if you're a VakifBank fan. This ball certainly needs to go in play. I have a feeling that's probably the message delivered by the coach. Jinue goes down line. Quick. Oh, what a reception. Great defense by Van Rijk. No such luck. Fenerbahçe as comfortable on the left as she is on the right. Comes flying in, catches Güneş off guard. She'll head back to serve. Power serve again, out of system play for VakifBank. Markova tries to test the block. Mess around and find out, says Vargas. Absolutely nowhere to go but straight back down. Shoulders of steel. 4-point lead. There's the hammer again from the end line. Van Rijk has some success off the noggin. Kalaskan on the serve. Gets through the block. And Fenerbahçe another chance. Blocking slightly less disciplined on VakifBank's side than they're used to seeing. Substitution. Liza Safranova, the 19-year-old Turkish outside hitter on the serve. Not on the reception, though, not on the defense. Kira Van Rijk just pummeling it cross court. Have a look at the angles she's got there as well. The blockers in place just a little low because of how fast that ball's speeding out to her. Vakif trying to close the gap here. Markova, who spent some time in Novara and Indonesia last season. Ana Cristina has a go, she's dug. Markova from the pipe gets herself the overpass. One more time on the outside, Bozzetti can't get through, but it's a good cover. VakifBank going again for the fingertips, that'll pay off. Patience the key now for VakifBank. There is the swing and covered by her teammates. That's the key here, not trying to score immediately. Just maybe going off hands, aggressive but precise. 13-15, Markova. Keeping that steady 2-point lead. Does it land in? Is it a point? Yes, it is. Fenerbahçe finding ways to score, and that's what's impressive right now. This, not a particularly hard-driven ball, just a little punch over with the fist. And that's enough to find that deep corner. Power serve again. Bozzetti in and out of system play. Smart to go high off hands, but another tip. Durcha just having her way. And these are the points right now that can make or break a derby like this. You know both teams are swinging hard. You know they're going to be aggressive serves, but the ones like this, the little tips out of system, that could be the difference maker. VakifBank down by 4. Markova trying to close the gap. And I'm loving this use of her in the backcourt. She's had some success there, and you see Yuan Jinyue pushing over a little bit, taking the block with her. She's opening up that channel for her teammate. One more swing. Doesn't go down just yet. Outside. That one's dug as well. Bozzetti underneath it. She gets the return. Tight at the net. Zurza pops it up for her big swinger. And Fenerbahçe are making VakifBank sweat. How about that defense? And it's middle blockers defense nonetheless. Just those little pieces. It's timeout again.
We still attacking only diagonal, position 4. Only diagonal. We didn't try one block out all there. Federo 7 where she attack, only linear. Only linear. Where we attack, only diagonal. And we have to serve. We have to serve. If we don't serve, we're not gonna win. Take his mistake, but serve.
You can feel the frustration creeping in on Giovanni Guidetti's side. He's asking a lot of his team, but at the end of the day, he's actually just asking for the basics. If they've decided they're going to block a certain way on a player, he's expecting that of his team. He also, hey, he's saying, look, we got to put these balls on the court. If we don't serve in, we can't score points. Fenerbahçe continue putting their serve in, and with pressure nonetheless. Kind of like going just a bit low. Couple of changes then coming in on VakifBank's side. In comes Cansu Özbey in the setting role. I believe she's joined by Dera Cebeciolu, 24-year-old Turkish outside hitter. 6-point deficit. VakifBank has some work ahead of them. First swing for Cebeciolu. Just wide. That's a good looking set as well from Cansu, straight up and down on the antenna. Gave her a lot of width to work with. First ball in, handled well by Aykaç. Doesn't matter, blocking is on point for Fenerbahçe. Well, Markova's had a little bit of joy there, but Durcha stepping in saying, not this time. How about a 3-person block? Kristina Vučkova, solid serve. She'll defend as well, but not enough to keep it in play. Good reactions there. The VakifBank have so much catching up to do here in this set. If anything, at very least, a little bit of momentum to take over into the next set. Vargas rolls it. That's an easy pickup. Markova going line, and that'll help. Just enough width on that for her to turn it. Ball in and tipped. Fenerbahçe doing work. Markova responding. Now Markova's being asked a lot. That ball drifting, and she sees the space on the floor. Timeout called on the other side. Very little time left in this set. VakifBank needing to pull something out here. It's 23-18 for Fenerbahçe. And Christina on the first contact, not perfect, but still a ball up to Vargas. Outside this time, Markova taking a heavy load for VakifBank, but she's one of those players. She can certainly change the outcome of this set almost single-handedly. Ball's over, pass, not put away. 3 blockers up on VakifBank's side, and it pays off. And another timeout, back-to-back timeouts on Fenerbahçe's side.
Important is that you don't feel pressure. You need to play with the mind open. Set is finished, but we need to stay on the game and twice. We need to play side out and after organized block and defense. Nothing happened. Nothing. Either.
I'm always a little suspicious of coaches that tell you to stay relaxed while they're yelling at you. Of course, all the coaches have different styles and they're trying to get a lot of information across, but I always did prefer when coaches would just give me volleyball specific information to focus on, and I think certainly plenty of things that VakifBank have been doing that could be slowed down if you're Fenerbahçe's coach. Let's see. One of them a big swing into the blockers. Oh, what a pickup. Vargas on the right side. She can't find the floor. Almost down, but not quite. And Vargas is back in flight. Well, they had to work for it, but the defense paying dividends. Starting with that pancake right there. Giselle Morga, formerly of VakifBank, brings up set points for Fenerbahçe. Not for long. VakifBank just finding Markova wherever she is on the court. Good strategy. Still set point for the Yellow Angels. First contact way out of system. Fenerbahçe with the tip and the scramble play. That'll do it. Set number 1 goes the way of Fenerbahçe. An out of system, kind of scrappy looking play here, but the tip just enough to get some bodies on the floor. And if you're ever going to make a tip, find your way to where the middle blocker is. That's always a safe bet. Well, Fenerbahçe pulled away about halfway through the set. You could feel the momentum shifting towards Fenerbahçe. A lot of questions to be answered if you're Giovanni Guidetti. First one, can that serve be put in? His side struggling on that first contact. Here we go. Second set underway. Fenerbahçe with the first. And VakifBank, will they have a comeback here in the second set? Good start. Markova dials it in right off the bat. And VakifBank did ask whether or not serving, receiving would be one of their question marks. That was one of their struggles last time these two teams met. Outside, Anna Cristina off the hands, looks for fingertips and the deep corner. Catching Bozetti, sleeping in the middle. One point apiece. Solid line serve, flat. Markova's on that. High again. Vargas moves the feet to get things done. Markova again down the line, gets one of her opponents on the floor, but again, it's Fenerbahçe getting three bodies on the floor. Zurta, I think that's her third time that she's just popped the ball over and had some success. That's what we get from a veteran setter. Struggling again, a free ball. Fenerbahçe trying to clean it up. High to Markova, over the hands, and that'll do nicely for VakifBank. Well, you just feel as though neither of the teams are really playing their full strength at the moment. There have been a few uncharacteristic errors on both sides. Sila Çalışkan, who did get the starting nod again this second set. 28-year-old Turkish setter sends that ball long, and again, that was a question mark. That was one of the things Giovanni Guidetti was begging of his team. Please put that ball in. We cannot win. We don't earn points from the end line. Not even earning points, just forcing the other team to play. Getting Vargas off the end line, that's a win. Kira van Rijk with a slicing, aggressive internal angle. 3 points apiece, Markova. She's looking for the libero, but the blockers have a little extra on it. Fenerbahçe feeling it. Patience is what VakifBank need a little bit more of. Anna Cristina gets VakifBank out of system again. Kira van Rijk looking for the end line, goes a little too far. And some conversation happening between players and coach. Perhaps just close enough for a challenge, but called off by the players. 5-3, Fenerbahçe creeping that lead forward. That'll do better. Canadian opposite was the best scorer of the Turkish league last season. Struggling to find her rhythm here today, but that's one step in the right direction. Gunesh. And it's Vargas on the other side, bringing some heat. Those two, of course, teammates in the national team. Good friends off the court as well. Vargas, she has not come to mess around today. Markova with the first ball, and she gets rewarded by her setter for an almost perfect pass. Sila barely having to move, and have a look at that pop-up. If you're as the Kalac on the other side, how do you block both those attacks basically at the same time? Deep swing. Has to be sent free ball. Indeed it is. Turta looking through, finds her middle, and the touch. Great choice by the 36-year-old Serbian setter. She is feeling what's going on the other side. And high-level setters will do that. You saw that little look through the net, little sideways eyeball. Doesn't get the touch off the block though, so it's tied up. From the back court, is it worth a challenge? I thought I saw a little toe touch on the line. I think Coach Fenolio did as well. It's a great choice there. And A, you're getting Vargas on the floor. B, you're finding some open court. However, I do believe from where I was standing, there was a touch on the back court. If you're attacking from the back court, you cannot touch that 3-meter line. So Fenerbahçe take the point. Bozzetti into hands for a recycle. Goes harder the second time. Blockers are set up. Fenerbahçe again, this time from the backcourt. Too quick, too low. And Juan Yinjue is all over. Just barely having to move. Just a little bit of toe tapping. Tying us up at 7s. Bozzetti, 31-year-old Italian from Novara last season. Goes heavy, goes hard, gets herself an ace serve. VakifBank have been waiting. They need that service pressure to step up. Starts with Bozzetti. This time handled better. Back to the outside, Vargas. She gets it done. Alina Fedotseva, who's been solid in the serve, and she continues to do so. How about an ace serve, this time on Fenerbahçe's side? Goes for the top spin, side to side. She's sitting in zone 1, turns it all the way down to the other zone 1 on the other side. Can she do it again? This time goes line, 2 aces in a row, and yes, indeed. One of Fenerbahçe's biggest strengths, that server right there. Full power, full pressure, and full points. Going for 3, takes something off it this time, and the net helps. Still a 10-9 lead. Fenerbahçe up just by 1. Clean and high. Dirtser running a phenomenal offense on her side. Watch the blockers creeping in for the middle and for Vargas. and there is just no chance they're going to get all the way back out there for Anna Christina. Line serve works well. Kristina Vučkova, the 33-year-old Bulgarian middle blocker. I have questions about that, actually. That ball looked like it might have crossed the plane of the net, in which case the Fenerbahçe middle blocker would have been in her rights to touch it. Defense good. One hand skipping off of Güneş. Quick, and it's up again. But the block says no. Fenerbahçe have been doing a stellar job of protecting the net. That time, it is all libero action to keep things in play. Vargas is dialed in on Markova. But Markova has a similar idea in mind. Markova incredibly used to play as middle blocker, and you can see that in her body type, but she, as a release swinger, is becoming one of the best. Christina, the young 20-year-old Brazilian outside hitter. She's looking for Bozetti. The push back to Van Rijk is denied. And again, rinse and repeat. The blocking from Fenerbahçe has been next level. Spreading out that gap. Fedorovtseva patrolling the net. Off the net again, and Bozetti having to do anything she can. Just a two-hand tip, no blockers were up. But this time, they're ready. Patience, the name of the game here for both sides. Fedorovtseva trying to go line when Van Rijk all over it. 14-12. Here comes Vargas on the right side. Just wide. Güneş calling it out of bounds, saying no touch, no line. Great ball in. You knew it was coming. Zerza taking every opportunity to get involved in the offense. Zerza playing in Fenerbahçe last season, was the best setter of the Turkish league, in fact. Here's that change we saw already, Liza. Safronova from the end line. Only ever played here in Turkey. Gets a little bit of scramble from the players on Vakif's side. High ball set. Denied. Yuan Jinue and Kira Van Rijk making a wall against Fedorovtseva. That's the second time she swung blindly into it. It's a good look for VakifBank, getting themselves a little bit stronger in the block here today. Was not their strength in the first set. It's picking up, as is the serve. Ace serve for the Canadian. The best server of the VNL in 2022. Just dials it in between two players. That'll tie us up at 15s. same power. Lacking the precision that time, but that's a good start. VakıfBank starting to find some rhythm, some cohesion from their service pressure. Markova is the target, as per usual, has to send a free ball. Fenerbahçe underneath it, Vargas. Playing with fire when you send a free ball over to Fenerbahçe, because look what they'll send right back, an absolute bomb. Timeout called, 17-15 for Fener. The challenge is for VakıfBank to stay close to Fenerbahçe. Cannot allow them to spread a big gap like they did in the first set. That'll help. That fire from the backcourt has been one of the consistent parts of VakıfBank's offense so far. Just strong and precise between the blocking hands. Back to within one. Vargas sneaks it through. She had a big block in front of her, did not care. Vargas, one of those players that's going to take a big swing pretty much from anywhere on the court, and even if it's not a perfect set, she's not in perfect position, she loves to go with that firepower. Back within one. That's a metaphorical win for VakıfBank, getting Fenerbahçe off the service line. Jinue. Terza has to move. Anna Cristina doesn't mind. Christina's been with Fenerbahçe since 2021. Before that, spending a lot of time playing in Brazil, of course, her home country. Olympic silver medalist in Tokyo. Another change then for Fenerbahçe's side. Aurelia Karasoy, 28-year-old Turkish setter. Again, the target continues to be eye check, eye catch, and it does not pay off. The libero puts in pretty much a perfect pass. Barely having to move, and again, Markova. She's just got the height to kind of beat the blockers. Even when they're in the right position, she'll go over them. She's given Palagonu vibes. Palagonu and Milano beating Azajibashi 3-0 yesterday. They'll surely be watching somewhere. High ball swing, and that's enough. The blocking picking up on VakıfBank's side. Vargas unable to get through that time on a one-on-one. Typically Vargas able to get through one-on-three. Makunesh has the final say that time. Out of bounds, a serve. VakıfBank are turning it on. Ball Ball dropping out of the air from Silla. And that brings up another timeout, just up by 1. VakifBank taking the lead. I believe it's the first time in the match they've been able to do that. One change also on Fenerbahçe's side. Meliha Diken into the mix. To the outside, Anna Cristina looks for the end line. Does she tag it? I think she got a touch on the blockers on the way through. That'll do nicely. Ties us up again at 20s. And look who's at the service line. Melissa Vargas, who's been with Fenerbahçe since 2018. Best server when she spent some time in China in 2022 as well. Free ball comes. Outside, Anna Cristina capitalizing on some confusion on VakifBank's side. What a sharp cross bullet. Timeout again, down by 1 now, Vakif.
And we move like this. When I can see it down, then sometimes you have some shot diagonal. Hey, don't worry about that. One shot, one side out. Hey, but we'll do the explanation. Let's go, we are.
If you're just tuning in, first set went to Fenerbahçe, and it was a bit of a fight at the end, but it did seem as though they had a foothold on the set. Now we've seen a back and forth of momentum. VakifBank with a little lead there. Now Fenerbahçe getting back into it. Can they close or open the gap? Yes, they can. A big shutdown on the outside. Blocking's been one of the biggest strengths on Fenerbahçe's side as well. This time, Bojana Dircha, the setter, you typically think, hey, let's go down the line over the smaller setter. She's only 186 centimeters. Does not matter when you've got a veteran there. Dircha's played in Russia, France, Switzerland, Serbia. Change happening on Vakif as Jansu comes back in. Just enough to cause some confusion. A little distraction there for Vargas before she serves. Her former national team teammate. Not former, current. Lots of teammates turned opponents today. They serve, Markova. Bringing it all day long. She was the best server in Indonesia in 2024. Have a look at why. The spin plus the angle that she chooses from zone 1 to zone 1. Absolutely nothing that Gizem could do but just dive at it. A sigh of relief for Fenerbahçe fans. One-point lead goes back to Fenerbahçe's side. Remember, they've got that first set in the bag already. They need just 2 points to get a second. And it does it. That was an ace serve. Anna Cristina just takes something off it. Not a full speed serve, but absolutely full precision from where I'm sitting. That hit the line. I don't know if you agree. I don't know what you saw. But for me, that's an ace serve. We will have a challenge. VakifBank down by 1. Giovanni Guidetti perhaps clutching at straws there. That, yep. 100% in. Even if it was only 1% in, it technically counts as 100%. Erdem Dündar not able to play today. She's played in pretty much every single set these two have faced off against each other in the Champions League, but not today. Set point staved. And it's, of course, Markova comes flying in from the backcourt. That's been her go-to. That has been her bread and butter today. Set point, Fenerbahçe again. That'll do it. The errors in the serve plaguing VakifBank. Fenerbahçe get off scot-free in set number 2. The wry smile on Gizem's face, the 31-year-old libero, knowing they were given that set there at the end. 2-0 Fenerbahçe. I'll combine that with a bit of pressure from Fenerbahçe's servers, and VakifBank need to find a response, and quick. Set number 3, here we go then. VakifBank on the right side, Fenerbahçe on the left. We are in the 3rd set here in the quarterfinals. One of these two teams can move on to the superfinals. So far, it looks like Fenerbahçe is looking to do it, but there's still plenty more time left. Another freebie. Turcha sends it down the line to the fresh libero, Aylan Ayçar. 29-year-old Turkish libero is now in for VakifBank, and there's another change. Cansu Özbey at the helm. She looks for Van Rijk, and that pipe's been firing. Yuan Xingyue, best middle blocker of the Chinese League in 2024. Another freebie, and I'm going to keep my eyes on Giovanni Guidetti's face, as even from the first set, he looked a little frustrated with the way his team was serving. And again, it's always a back and forth because you cannot ask your team to send freebies. You don't want a lollipop serve, but at the same time, got to manage that risk-reward ratio. Beautiful turnaround, Markova inside the block, but it all starts with the first contact. Markova having a field day at the net. The 28-year-old Turkish setter who's been with VakifBank since 2016. Takes her serve. Cannot take the defense though. It's Fedorovtseva. She comes flying in. Again, we're calling a few different names on Fenerbahçe's side. I think that's what's ultimately the key, is having a spread out, distributed offense. Ana Cristina this time covers herself. Turcha underneath it. How about that? Melissa Vargas from the floor. Are you kidding me? Well, it doesn't take much, but she is one of the most impressive players on or off her feet. What a swing for Vargas. 1 point lead for Fenerbahçe. Van Rijk's been having a bit of success there, looking through the hands over and over of Vargas, getting her a little frustrated in that regard. I think by my count, that's already 3 service errors on VakifBank's side in this set. And Fenerbahçe only have 5 points. Better. Ball's up. Stays in play on Fener's side as well. Free ball has to come. Handled well. Turn from Güneş, and we haven't seen a whole lot of her in the offense yet today. But rely on her to finish it off. Here's the free ball. Now you know Cansu has options, and she chooses her middle because that area has not been firing. Really hasn't been allowed to be because they haven't had great ball contacts. Three blockers up is not enough. That ball sneaking underneath the arms of the wall in front. Here comes Anna Cristina. She's going for the top spin. That's handled well by the fresh libero face on court. Big high ball outside. Dug down the line by Markova. Again, she'll get that pipe going. Get some bodies on the floor. Bozzetti can't find it, trying to clean it up. Fedorovtseva goes too sharp on the outside. Bit of credit here for Aylin Achar, the fresh libero on VakifBank's side. She's been defending like a monster. Great watch there to keep the ball going outside. And we're tied up at 6s. Kira Van Rijk nails another one, an ace serve. The MVP of the Polish League in 2021. Looks between 2 defenders. The libero's one of them. And VakifBank could use a little more of that. Kristina Vučkova. Champions League silver medal recently. Cross court, that'll do. Yohan Jinue as well, one of those attackers that's been relatively quiet on VakifBank's side. They just haven't had a chance to run those options as much as they'd like. One of the options that continues to work for Fenerbahçe. That high ball outside. Durza giving her just enough height and width for Fedorovtseva to find the middle of the court. Yohan Jinue with some pressure. Ball through the middle. Out of system play. Bump set. Goes right side. 2 players running it down. Not bringing it back. And that's another point for Fener. Fedorovtseva again. Just too much heat. points apiece. Fenerbahçe, she's been solid from the end line and does it again. An ace serve. Russian server, Russian receiver. All the pressure going on VakifBank. Have a look at that serve from behind as well. You can really get an idea of how much spin it has on it. Well, you understand the idea there. Fenerbahçe went deep on that first serve, went to go a little shorter on the second, kind of pulling that string back and forth. That strategy, typically a good idea to keep the receivers on their toes. Zone 5-4. Jansu gonna go a little short here on Ana Cristina. And it works out. High swing over the blockers. And it's a good ball in, but catching it a little on the wide. This time deeper. Again, targeting Ana Cristina. Vargas targets the hands of the blockers, as she's been doing all night long. I love watching Vargas in slow motion. You see how her body starts in one area and ends in a totally different one. She's just really good at moving in the air and kind of adjusting to the ball in real time. Jansu goes back to Markova. One of the few errors we've seen in her offense tonight. What I like about Markova's swing, that one not landing, but she's changing things up. We've seen her go line, cross, even sharper. Really trying to make those blockers guess, and the defenders as well. Same thing on the outside, changing up the zones. Look how sharp she's going with that external rotation. Tied up at 12s. We talked about how well matched these two teams were. Remember, each team won one match at home in the domestic league this year. That'll do nicely. Markova with an ace serve. Count it. That's a beauty of a serve. Barely any spin. VakifBank with 6 aces here tonight. That tends to be the pattern, though. An ace followed by an error is what we're seeing over and over again from Vakif. Let's see what Fenerbahçe has. Here comes Vargas. Going for the top spin. Again, looking for Markova. Van Rijk tries to find the angle. It's not there. It's too much. The idea correct, trying to avoid the blockers. But it's a timeout called. VakifBank take their first.
They meet the blocker in lane. We attack on to meet the blocker. High ball, we use the block. We receive good, we attack. Out. They don't give this, we take one. Good receptor, use the middle. High ball, use the block.
Time starting to run out for VakifBank. They're down just by 1, but we need to see a little more momentum from their side. A little bit hot and cold, both these two teams. There's another example of the cold, just out by an inch. Kunesh looking for Anna Kristina. Fenerbahçe finds the defense. And really making Markova work today. That backcourt attack, and this is one of the things that I'm liking that I'm seeing from both sides, is they're using that backcourt. They're not forgetting that that is an entirely different zone from behind the net. Through the middle, that'll do. Yuan Jinue, utilizing her height and just a snap of the wrist. Jansu recognizing how close she is, able to use the middle there. Yuan Jinue, best middle of the VNL in 2023. Ooh, out of system play. Vargas finds it. Does not matter. Never count out Melissa Vargas. A solid serve and a wholly out of system play. And Vargas looks for line all day long. Brings up an advantage for the visitors. They didn't have to go far to visit. Just down the road, both teams from Istanbul. Here's a Safronova again. Looks for the libero spot. Good cover there by Durcha. Fenerbahçe goes line like a magnet on Markova. Good conversion. Van Rijk on the right side. Point for point, these two teams now. Katarina Pozzetti. She was the best server of the world champs in 2022. Can she bring some heat here? Oh, yes she can. Gets the overpass with the dribbler on the net. That puts Vakif back in the lead. Yuan Jinue keeping her eyes open. Super heads up play from the middle blocker. Pozzetti again. Same spot. But Fenerbahçe will not be kept down for long. That first contact from Gizem, pretty much perfect, and she does well to just step in and kind of cover Anna Kristina there. Take a little bit more of the court. You love to see it from the liberos. Yuan Jinue again, this time on the slide. We saw her just moments ago grabbing the overpass. Now, look at the width on that ball. And Jansu does such a good job of giving her middle options, so she can cut that off early. She can wait and go down the line. Fenerbahçe with very little options, but again, the miscommunication. We saw that at the end of the second set. Perhaps it was the end of the first set, where a ball just dribbling over the block. And some touches cause confusion, and Fener takes the point. Ties us up at 18. Oh, great pickup. Aylina Char putting her team in position to play. Free ball comes back. Outside Markova, she'll throw it. Hands are underneath, has to be swung on. Vargas, does she get it? Yes, she does. Unbelievable. Have a look at this. Balls from basically over her shoulder, behind, into the hands and onto the post. Confidence level at 100 for good reason. Melissa Vargas is, everything she's touching is turned to gold today. Here comes Fenerbahçe. Searching for a Char. Ball's up from Gizem. Same thing from Van Rijk. It's a scramble play. Markova goes for hands, pays off. How about that pancake? But Markova again and again and again, the go-to to deliver some points for Vakif. We're tied up at 19th. And Christina goes with the overpass, two-hand throw from Gunesh. Back in play, and what a slice from Van Rijk. And that puts VakifBank back in the driver's seat. Beautiful pickup. Aylin Achad finds a way. They've just been having way too much success with those overpasses. Those dumps from the setter have gone unchecked for too long. And a 1-point lead. That gets Jansu all fired up for a timeout.
Maybe one deep, but normally it's diagonal intermittent. You need to risk a little bit with her, and you block completely inside, because ball is short, and you go diagonal on 3 meters. It's better to let 2 meters and try to move. Middle blocker, block, diagonal, diagonal.
Well, we heard a little bit of an insight there in the timeout. Heard Fernolio talking about crossing a little, or blocking a little more cross. I assume he's talking about Markova. Doesn't matter though, if his middle's firing like that. As the Kalac with a big swing. She was the best middle of the Turkish league in 2022. And for good reason, fastest arm. Another serving sub. Aurelia Karasoy. Played in Nantes last season. Off hands, good block touch there. And the change from the backcourt, great play all around for Fenerbahçe. 3 blockers up, not enough though. And the adjustment made on the block there to get the touch on Markova could have been what made the difference there. And they're up by 1. Another solid serve on Markova. Van Rijk goes over the blockers and down to zone 5. She's been working the cross court all match long. Now changes it up, goes line. She knows there's that fresh face on court. That's why. We're tied up, 21s. Anybody's set still. VakifBank must win this to stay alive. And Christina doesn't want that to happen. Big, powerful push. Blockers in a good place and penetrating as well. So look who's serving. Melissa Vargas. Finds Markova. She's been doing double duty in the reception. Handling it so well as of recent. Van Rijk also stepping up her offensive game. She was struggling to get past the block in the first couple of sets, and now just working a little higher, a little deeper. Perfection in the pass. You know what that means? Way too easy for Melissa Vargas. Gersha making the right choice, right time. She's got the blockers hanging, just biting on her middle blocker. Won Jinyue, no chance of getting back there in time. 1 point lead. Markova brings it tight. Yuan Jinyue can't find the floor. It's outside. Fedorovtseva. She's blocked. Here comes Vargas, and she is denied. Huge point for VakifBank. They needed that block more than breath in their lungs. Yuan Jinyue, picture perfect. You knew where that ball was going. She knew even better. Time for Van Rijk. It's not enough. Seen her with a couple of aces here today, but that error could be the most costly of the night, bringing up match point for Fenerbahçe. Not yet. Another timeout from VakifBank. We are on the edge.
Gear one for bad reception. Bad reception. This is one leg. 5, 4, 2 legs. Let's go! Let's go! We are!
The pressure is on if you're VakifBank right now. They must win this point in order to stay alive in this match. Kristina Vučková puts it in. It's a fast ball. Yuan Jinyue gets it done. Excellent choice from Jansu to feed up her middle, who's been pretty much dominant in the offense so far, and surely none of the blockers on the other side expecting that ball to go to her. So the correct choice. Ball's in. Ball is ace. That'll do nicely for VakifBank. Katarina Bozzetti with an ace serve and a timely one. Timeout Fenerbahçe. They are now down, and it's set point Vakif. What a time to get an ace serve. Katarina Bozzetti coming in clutch. She hasn't had a whole lot to do in the offense here today, but a couple of timely aces for the Italian. Keeps it in play. Fedorovtseva handles it. Into the corner, into the pocket, into the coffin, and just nail it shut. Ties us up at 25s. Brings Durcha back to the line. Goes down to Markova, who responds with some power. Down but not out. And again, VakifBank have set point, but how's that? Serving on Markova. She takes the first contact and gets the set. She's handling a lot of responsibility for her side. Yuan Jinyue. Ball's called out, or is it called in, or is it called out? Yuan Jinyue is calling it an ace, and VakifBank look pretty convinced. Have they just stolen the set from Fenerbahçe? Of course, we have a challenge. We need to see this replay. I'm saying there's a little more excitement on VakifBank's side. They are looking a little more convinced. And if they think it was even slightly in, chances are it probably was. The physics of it being you only need the tiniest amount of the ball to touch the sideline. Well, it's taken a little longer. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, it does not get closer than that. Fenerbahçe hanging on by a thread. Ooh, I see why they thought that was in real time. Juan Chinue, almost the hero of the night. But on we play. Solid serve. Ball's out to Markova, who goes hands. I'm feeling the energy on VakifBank's side. The momentum has shifted. Markova continuing to do what she's done all match long. Set point Vakif. Goes deep on Fenerbahçe. She's been the target. Anna Cristina high off hands. That keeps Fenerbahçe in the set. Might have gone off head instead of hands. Kira Van Rijk on the receiving end. Some power there. It's 27s. Each team has had a chance already to close out this set. Neither could do it. What a defense. Dercha, ball's up. Anna Cristina takes a rip, and that's covered. Vargas denied. Dercha to the outside. Anna Cristina sneaks it past. And that is enough to get the advantage back on Fenerbahçe's side. Well, that looked like it was all VakifBank's point to win. How much scrambling was happening on Fenerbahçe's side. But in this sport, it only takes a split second for momentum to shift back, and now it's match point. Fenerbahçe. Markova goes wide. The ball is out. Have Fenerbahçe fought back in this third set? The body language would signify that they have. But in a last-ditch effort, Giovanni Guidetti has to challenge, at least for a touch. That's what I'm assuming that they're challenging. Yep, it is indeed for a touch, but I don't see one, and neither do the referees. And that means Fenerbahçe have done it in 3 sets. The emotional roller coaster on VakifBank's side. Incredible. Well, she was pretty much perfect all night long. But that one swing, I have a feeling, is going to haunt Marina Markova for at least a week, if not longer. Well, it was a team effort by Fenerbahçe. They had that first set pretty confidently, had to sneak the second one through, but the third was definitely not an easy challenge. Plenty of things to think about on each side. And we'll have a look at the MVP. Fenerbahçe's Fenerbahçe getting the nod. Huge part of this offensive and defensive play. Well, there it is. It is a 3-0 win. Fenerbahçe shocking VakifBank in this inner city duel. this derby of Istanbul.